What's up, guys? Welcome back to Free Will. This is Tony Scardino. Last week, we touched on a little beginner's guide to astrology. This week, we are going to change it up a bit and we are going to talk a little bit about the physical world. And the physical world, meaning this week, is going to be on politics versus spirituality. We are going to talk about a few concepts and bring in both of these themes that are crucial to us because we are the mind, body, and soul. We are the physical versus the spiritual. Politics plays a major role in our physical lives. It plays a very major role in our identification in this world, in this physical body. What are our thoughts and feelings? How does that connect to this spiritual side that we have all together as a connected consciousness and as individual consciousnesses? So, after this episode, you are going to be able to gain a little bit of a understanding of how we can all be at ease when it comes to these topics, when it comes to these, major events and conversations that we get into, or maybe dislikes that we have with each other's opinions, and how we can all bring it together. Let's hit it. I talk about how think of a balance scale, like a law balance scale. We are the creators of our reality, but we are also the observers to our reality. Now, how does that make sense? Talked about it in astrology. We are the designers behind our human design. We are the ones who placed ourselves in this design, in this body, in this set of conditions, in this world, in order for us to learn lessons and experiences to fulfill our higher self, to gain that sense of enlightenment and reach in higher and higher realms and dimensions of prosperity, right? Because what's the point? What's the point of being here? What are we doing? We're filling up our DNA code with lessons and experiences, and we're learning and we're growing and we're getting rid of that karma. And we are not focused on the past. We are focused on the present. And we keep growing and growing and growing. Our minds are growing. Now, bring in that episode that I have, Fate versus Free Will. Recommend checking that out before I get into this. But fate is our destiny that we created as the designers. So we have in astrology, they even talk about it, how there is the driver to the vehicle and the passenger to the vehicle. But we are both. We are the driver by being the designer, and we are the passenger by being the observer. So when we created this human design, this little design that you have for yourself and why you're here on earth and what you're doing and all these experiences and lessons that you're going through, you have a sense of fate because your consciousness created this to begin with. Now, you are the director, producer, and scriptwriter to your own play, to this own little game that you are living right now in this lifetime. So you are the creator because you can change the script whenever you like. You have that free will to be able to be the creator in any sense, in any time, for your energy to generate. Okay. Now, how does that connect? Where are we going with this? What we're getting at is the concept of spirituality is you have the power within you. So it's within us. We are the manifestors. We are the creators of our own reality. The concept of politics gives that power to someone else. It gives the power to determine your livelihood and your prosperity to someone else. And if other people don't agree with you on who it should go to, you are creating this thing called separation. That is the unification to the polarity. What are we doing when we're identifying with certain ideas? We are causing polarity. Now, this is normal. None of this is bad. But we have to make that conscious decision. Am I giving the power to myself, or am I giving the power to someone else? Now, within religion, we can compare the religion versus spirituality as religion is also you are giving the power to an external source. all of the credibility that you should be giving yourself, you are giving to some external source, when that external source has even told you and written that you are Christ consciousness, that Christ consciousness is within you. So you are that external source. So the power is within you. So we take this idea of, okay, we're the creators, but we're also the observers to this reality. And we have this balance beam. Now take the balance beam of the physical world versus the spiritual world. You're the observer in the physical, you are the creator in the spiritual. Where do we put ourselves on this scale, on this balance of the physical versus the spiritual, on the balance between being the creator and the observer? If we want things to be balanced, hopefully we're in the middle, because we need both. Again, you need the negative for the positive, and you need the positive for the negative. Balance is key. And we as a society tend to be fooled by the political theater. Yes, nothing against politics. And to point out, I started this podcast being more political. I was in law school and I had this identification with my ideas in politics. And the more and more I started learning and learning about myself and learning about being the creator and learning about all of these beautiful concepts, the positive, the higher frequency concepts, I started drifting away from politics. But I also didn't judge. I didn't judge the physical side, because the physical side is necessary. And you can have opinions on the physical side. You can be both spiritual and political. But it's, again, where is that balance? Where are you identifying with yourself? The political theater is when we talk about how you are the director, producer, and scriptwriter, the grand play of your life. The political theater is just another show. It's just another play orchestrated in order to what? Control the masses. Remember this. When I say we are gods, gods within. If you want to control a population of gods, you teach them that they were never gods in the first place. You would get them overstimulated, confused, addicted, hopeless, scared, hateful, broke, divided, and distracted. Also, they don't come to the realization that they're all just puppets to the money-making show. Then you would get people to gaslight anybody that questions or figures out the system, and the rest is taken care of by their own peers. So, we talk about the Matrix. We talk about this orchestra. We look around in society, and all of these things I said, overstimulation, addiction, division, distraction, these are undeniable outcomes to what is going on. And the theater of politics does a very well job. No matter what side you're on, you are divided. It does not matter. It does not matter if you're on this side, does not matter if you're on this side. It does not matter if you agree with these things or don't, or if you agree with these things or don't. There is division, polarity. We have that black in the yin yang. It is the negative energy required for us to find the positive energy. So, I'm not hating on politics, because this is all necessary. This orchestrated play is necessary for us to find ourselves, for us to realize that power within, for us to make a stance as individuals and as a collective, the people, to make that change ourselves and to find that fulfillment without putting it on external sources. Because here's the deal. No matter who you vote in, no matter who you agree and disagree with, we are the individuals that make up society. If we want to change society, we have the power. Instead, we think that the power is on our vote for some leader or some party. But realistically, whatever they change, whatever they do, how does it really impact your happiness, your fulfillment, and your purpose? That's why a big topic is purpose, our life's purpose. Is your purpose, did you come down here to really care about what your neighbor thinks about who to elect that's going to make some type of change that really isn't going to affect your day-to-day life. Of course, politics, it affects our lives. It affects laws, it affects inflation, it affects, well-being, and laws are necessary. But again, when we talk about free will, is there really something that you can't do? If you want to do something, you can do it. If you want to do anything, you can do it. What is stopping you? A set of laws, the consequences of prison, a set of fines. Those are consequences, but like everything else, you can make a decision on anything you want to do. You have the free will to do anything you want. And if there's a set of consequences to it, then that played role in your decision as well. In our political system, some of it has that negative energy, and some of it has that positive. That's because not only are we the individuals in society, but we're also the individuals that are partaking in politics. And just like society in the political realm, the political field, if those people find that purpose to be in that field, that purpose in life to be there, then as they so choose, that is their purpose. But everyone is playing a special role in this whole play of life. And it all comes down to that word I was saying of conscious decision. Is you're making these conscious decisions as the creator of your reality to pick and choose what you want to do and how you want to fulfill your role in this play. And it all comes down to that identification. When you are identifying as yourself, when you are identifying as the ego in your physical world, you are in the matrix. You are in the prison. Now, if you wake up from the prison and you acknowledge that it's a prison, then you are still held captive. Release of that prison. If you don't acknowledge that you are behind bars, you are not behind bars. And this was that concept I've brought it up before. It's called the divine game of Lila. It is waking up from the prison, from the illusory self. So now we bring in that concept again of being the creators and the observer. Observe your reality. Observe politics. Have opinions. But don't identify entirely with this structure, because now you are identifying with the egoic structure. And when you are your ego, you are not your higher self. And when we operate on our higher selves, when we operate on intuition versus ego, you are operating on higher frequencies. And those high frequencies are love, harmony, balance, peace. What are those lower frequencies? They're the fear, division, hate. So when we're operating with those low frequencies, when we see that someone has a different political sense and we have that separation to us and we're operating on hate, the game of politics is winning because that's what they want. They want the separation. But it can be up to us to disidentify from these feelings, to operate on those higher frequencies of love, balance, harmony. And then we can change the script altogether. We're not anywhere close to making any big impact on what's going on in the world here. It is not our job to either. To get ourselves so frustrated and, intensely passionate that leads to an aggressive persona, why would we let world events and world leaders affect us so much as individuals? So clear that as individuals, we hold all of the power to affect ourselves, which then will affect world events and world leaders. Is if we keep building ourselves as individuals, talk about the pyramid. I'm going to pull up the Illuminati symbol right now. But, we're more in masses down here. We have more power here. It looks like they have more power because they're on the top here. But we're all right here. We have the power to change those frequencies, to change those vibrations, to treat each other with respect, and to come with compromise and balance. And let's say, okay, it's normal. I disagree with that. That's not how life should be. Okay, well, you do your thing and I do my thing. And you have that mutual respect of we're not all going to live in the same reality. Even though we're connected, we are still individuals. That is the unity versus the polarity. And I've said this before, we are connected to everything but attached to nothing. That's a very beautiful quote, and I've been using it. And it's the theme of free will because we have to recognize the balance in that scale of all of us being connected, but then also not attached to anything. Because once you hold that attachment, you start identifying. Identification is within the ego, and it's beautiful. We can have identification, but it's also the release, being the creator, and then having trust in your creation by being the observer. Observe what's going on. This is fun times. We're watching history be made. We're watching history happen. Whether it goes your way or whether it goes, your neighbor's way, be the observer and take in the lessons. Take on the new experiences that you'll hold. Be the observer sometimes, but also while you're observing, be the creator. And don't let external people, someone else, dictate your reality. If you want to be a happy and prosperous individual and live with love, no one is stopping you. It doesn't matter how much of a controlled environment and controlled social conditions they are. Because the tougher that environment is, the tougher that control is, the closer you get to that light. Because again, it's a battery charged. The more negative we feel, the more positive that's going to come out of it. And I have faith in this society, no matter what we go through, that we can build up these higher frequencies, that we can live in love, that we can live in disidentifying to stop the judgments and to stop the division. The prison is an illusion, and the physical world is here to help us understand that. Both sides are beautiful. If you are identified with the illusory self, you are asleep. That's why they call it the awakening. Once you disidentify, once you realize that there's way more to this and to this energy and this frequency, then the ego likes to show us. And once you are aware of the prison and you fight to get out of the illusion, you are still asleep and it becomes a nightmare. And that divine game of Lila, that concept, is no mind, no matrix, but enjoying the movie. It is awakening from the egoic structure and realizing that all of this is just playing a role, everything that's going on, and enjoy the movie. Enjoy it because it's here to stay. And no matter what you do, there's not going to be change on the movie. There are people controlling that orchestra that you will never get close to. And it is your job to fulfill your life's purpose. And what is your life's purpose? And that's why free will is here to help determine that. Here to help us determine and get closer to that life's purpose, to that higher self, to that fulfillment. Because once we're focusing on that, and once we realize our power as gods, the play is just a play. We're enjoying the movie. We're enjoying what's going on. They don't have control on your mind, and they don't have control on how us as individuals in the society treat one another and how we want to lift one another. They can't do that if we have already controlled that ourselves. Either side, doesn't matter. Extreme here, extreme there, extreme there. My opinion is be in the balance, understand each other, understand why do certain people have these certain thoughts. It's because the ego, because when you're living in a set of social conditions, it feeds the ego with information. That's why certain people think a certain way. And you can have these opinions. You can still recognize your ego. But again, you have to disidentify to enjoy, to achieve that concept of oneness from the polarity, what this physical world has given us, the gift of separation, the gift of division, because when there is division, we have an opportunity to unite again. I will say, if we're going to talk about the concept of America right now and American politics, there's this TikTok video, and I don't want to pull it up. They were at a college, campus, and this guy was talking, and the college student asked, why is America the greatest country in the world? And this guy goes off on all of these statistics and logistics and numbers, comparing us to all the other countries, and he says, America's not the greatest country in the world. And no matter what you think, if it's not the greatest or the greatest, what America is beautiful for is this country resembles how the polarity and the division can unite, can become the oneness and the unity. Because we are the first country in the world, in history, where all of us around the world got together, where no matter how many problems you see in America and how much bad you see, it is equaled to that positive, because we are the country where it brings in all different races, all different cultures, all different ideologies and religions and practices and careers, and look at the beauty that's been made from it. I mean, when we all come together, America represents that. When you all unify, when we all come together and we all share our cultures and our ideologies, how much we can produce and make and how much we can solve together. When we see all these problems, what's the opposite? Solutions. And we as a country have had that strength. And us as people, as individuals, we're able to recognize you're an individual and we are also a collective. We're able to recognize the division and the unity in this country. And it is the first country that's ever done this. And it is quite beautiful. Everyone came here. We're considered the land of the free, the people, we the people. This is imprinted in our blood, in our DNA, these ideologies of being able to be the greatest nation in the world, to do that not only by combining all of the nations around, is the definition of unity. And we are so blessed to be living in a time and to be living in these generations and in this country, to be able to participate in this experiment, in this play of really combining all of the religions and all of the societies, all of the cultures, and to be able to say, yeah, we did that. And we came out stronger doing that. We took in all of the division and separation, and we were able to make it into unity. Kids are able to go to school with diversity all around them, and we are able to respect one another and get along. And yeah, are there battles and consequences and opinions and this and that and all of these little negative energy things going on? Yes, absolutely. But that is so good for us, because then we have the equal amount, which is the positive. And America is freaking awesome for that. And we are freaking awesome for living in America and for fighting for what we believe in, for fighting for free will, for freedom, because we deserve that. And now all we need to do is now recognize that we're all gods and we're all our creators, and decide ourselves what kind of society we want to live in. What kind of society does America deserve? Because the more negative we're going to see, I promise you, we're going to see an equal amount of positive. That's how the battery charges. So, yeah, just a good reminder before we get into this political season. We're not hating on politics because it's supposed to be there, and we're not loving on it because we're supposed to disidentify and recognize that we are more powerful than we think we are. This is all a necessary tool to play in the role of the physical world, in the role of your play as a human being living on planet Earth. Let's enjoy the lessons and experiences. We learn from them, we grow from them, and we love each other while doing it. And that is a really good ending to a play. I'm going to end it off there this week. You can follow me on all platforms at Freeing Tony. Follow me on Twitch. I'm now streaming. I'm playing Rocket League. And I hope you guys have a beautiful rest of the week. And I will catch you guys next time.
because we understand now that both the Republican and the Democratic Party in our country are basically run by the same people. The same money finances both sides. We now know, of course, through the work of many historians who have spent their life working on research to show us that both sides of world complex have always been financed by the same people. And as I've said before, there seems to be a method to the madness going on in the world. We know, of course, that we cannot depend on our leaders. Our leaders are misleaders. There is a science that they're following. They have their own agenda, and it doesn't include you. Conflicts require money and corporation. World conflicts require world banks, International Monetary Fund. Professional groups all have fraternal orders. Doctors, attorneys, etc. have their own specific fraternal orders. In the banking world, it is the same way. They have a fraternal order. In politics, there is a fraternal order. However, we're not supposed to know anything about that because that's not our business. That fraternal order in politics and banking has been known for many years by those in the inside. It has been referred to by different names, different times, in different countries. The best overall name that we can give to this fraternal order, which is running our country, politics, monetary, is Freemasonry.